Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Football Fignuts podcast. This is Season 8, Episode 21. If you counted all of them since we started, it's 332 episodes. I personally can't believe it. I'm Craig.
And I am the raspy ghost of Britt.
And Britt is back, and he is mostly alive.
Yeah, I feel fine, but my voice is telling everybody I'm sick.
Nah, that's fair. That's what the... You didn't have COVID, right? You just had like a flu or something?
It was a cold.
Oh, wasn't even the flu. Damn.
No, it was a cold, but I have what's called post-infectious cough, where my voice doesn't bounce back for like, and it can last up to 8 weeks, which means I can have this for another month.
Yeesh.
But yeah, I know, it's kind of brutal. The worst part is I go to work and people are like, "Are you sick? Why are you here? You need to go home." I'm like, "I'm not sick."
You should be like, "Yes, sick. I will work from home. Goodbye."
I mean, and there's some things I can do from home and there's some things I can't.
Yeah.
So like, so I will work from home when I can, but people are always like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to be in the same room." Well, then don't fucking come to the meeting. I don't know what to tell you. But we're getting hell of ourselves. Craig, what are you drinking tonight?
So tonight I'm drinking the only beer I had in the fridge, which is an athletic beer, but it's still beer and it's good. I like it.
All your Fox Farm is gone?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Damn, son.
It's gone. I think it was gone last week, week before.
I still got like 12 cans of Burst in my fridge.
Oh, nice.
Well, you know what? I didn't drink like that second half of December because I was sick.
Yeah, that's true. So I mean, it could have been mostly gone if you weren't sick then.
That's true. And that's what I'm drinking tonight. I'm drinking a Burst.
Oh, nice. Very good beer.
Fantastic stuff. Really love the Fox Farm stuff. So, all right. There's not a lot going on because we're in the playoffs. So let's knock off some ideas here. Let's start. What's burning on you tonight?
So my question to you is, sadly, the Minnesota Vikings are out of the playoffs. I don't know what happened to them.
Surprised.
I don't know if they weren't prepared. I don't know if Brian Flores forgot how to call a defense. I'm not sure what happened. I kind of feel
defensively, they look really bad.
I kind of feel bad that, see, you know what I think this isn't my question, but a sidebar. People start interviewing for coaching jobs while the playoffs are still happening, and I think it screws up with their preparation for games. That's just me. Mm-hmm. But, Flores has been interviewing for other positions, and I think it's just, I don't know, I think it adds another layer of stress in your brain when there's already a lot of stress because you're in the playoffs, so that's just me. Anyway, Sam Darnold, he might have to go somewhere. He had a career year. Good for him.
Yeah, he did.
He had a very bad playoff game, but it happens, whatever. So there's a few speculations of where he might go, and I want to know what you think. Where do you think he might wind up?
Okay.
So the first one is the Vikings franchise tag him and keep him because they don't know how what's his name is going to be next year after his surgery. Well, he had surgery, but they don't know how it's going to be. So there's some other options where he can go. Those options are the following. The Browns. God, I hope not.
Possible. Sure.
The Raiders.
Always possible.
The Rams. The 49ers.
No.
The Steelers. And the last one, God, I hope not, because I can't see him back in New York, is the Giants.
All the indications I'm reading, because there are people already posting about the draft.
Of course.
Is that the Giants are going to go gangbusters and trade like the Mara children to get up in the draft and get a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And with I'm going to botch his name because I'm not good with these college kids, but with Quinn Ewers,
maybe
the Texas quarterback declared for the draft today.
Oh, he did. Okay. All right.
He did. He formally declared, which means you know who the next in line there is in Texas, right?
It's a Manning, isn't it?
Arch Manning, the nephew of Peyton and Eli.
Yep.
It's Cooper's kid.
Yep. Remember, allegedly Cooper was the better athlete out of the three of them.
Cooper was reportedly the most gifted athlete of the three before he got hurt.
He hurt his neck, and then it just ended, sadly.
Yeah. So I think that the Giants are going to make a huge play for a quarterback. Then, I mean, is Stafford going to retire? If they win the whole thing, maybe Stafford retires. So, but otherwise, I don't see the Rams as an option. I don't see the Steelers as an option either. I think the Raiders are a possibility and the Browns are a possibility. But yeah, he's gonna pull a Teddy Bridgewater. He's gonna have one good year in Minnesota and try to go somewhere else.
Yep. Or maybe
that's
you know what?
essentially
Maybe even the Titans, because they need a lot of help. So
the problem with the Titans is that they are knee deep in bad quarterbacks already.
this is true.
So you gotta get somebody to take one of them off your hands.
True.
You know? I mean, and you can't release them because they're all got like freaking cap numbers through the roof.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, it's gonna be weird. Yeah, I don't think he stays in Minnesota though. What do you think on all this?
No, yeah, I think out of all of those, looking at out of those teams, I think the Raiders makes the most sense. And like I said before, I can't see him going back to New York willingly. Which is probably the most realistic option. I think the Vikings tag him. So, because I don't know who else they have there. Who else is like behind him?
But you're still just buying time for JJ.
True.
Unless you think that this injury has completely derailed his career, which is possible.
It's just possible. Let's see. What's my own curiosity? Who is the other quarterback there? It's Nick Mullins and Daniel Jones.
Well, I'm glad Daniel Jones found a place that he can get a paycheck.
True. That's true.
Yeah, I don't see them keeping him, but it'll be interesting to see where he goes. He's definitely increased his value with his play this year. But he clearly needs a good offense to be around him to be useful. So
yeah.
All right, so now for you, our close personal friend Deontay Johnson has a new team
already.
He was picked up off of waivers today.
Uh-huh.
Are you ready for who picked him up?
I'm sitting.
The Baltimore Ravens.
They're just trying to like pick up receivers that no one wants, and then they're just gonna probably cut him, aren't they?
Whoa. It gets better.
Oh, okay.
Because he was on the Texans roster for the playoff game, he's ineligible to play for another team these playoffs.
Really? Huh.
It gets better.
Okay.
His contract expires after this season. He will be an unrestricted free agent after the Super Bowl. So the Ravens picked up a guy that they can't use and is probably signing elsewhere during the offseason. And by the way, they'd already traded once this season to get rid of.
That's
or
weird. Are they going to try to? Can they trade him?
Well,
is that their plan?
That brings up the question. Why would you do this? And I can answer it for you. And I want to hear your thought. This is the real question: is what do you think about this?
Okay.
If he signs somewhere as an unrestricted free agent, he would count in the supplemental equation for 2026 as a lost player for the Ravens.
Oh, really?
So the Ravens would have the possibility of gaining or upgrading a supplemental pick in the 2026 draft.
Wow.
By picking up a guy they can't use and have no intention of keeping.
All right. You know what? That's a smart play then by the GM.
It feels like genius, doesn't it? That's my question. It was like, my God, is this genius or what?
That's something that the Bears wouldn't do. No, I think that's a smart move, and especially if he can't play in these playoffs, then what else are they going to do with him? So that makes perfect sense. I wonder what he got. Wonder what he's getting out of it. Did they call him up and be like, "Hey, we're going to sign you, but you can't play, but we can't pay you either, but we're going to let you go"? I don't know. How did they tell him to let this happen? I wonder what that conversation was like.
Well, I don't think he gets anything out of it other than the end of whatever's left in his contract that has to be paid out.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, he's claimed off waivers. It's not like he can sit there and go, well, I don't feel like going back there.
Right.
You were claimed off waivers, sir.
That's true.
You're a waiver pick. The end.
Oh,
have a nice day.
That's a good. I know that's a good play then.
I read this and I'm like, what the hell? Wait a minute. He was a Texan when the playoffs began. He's not eligible, and I confirmed that by reading the internet. I was like, okay, NFL.com, CBS Sports, is saying, yeah, he's not eligible to play for anybody this postseason, and he's a free agent. Why the hell would you do this? Because Baltimore can get a compensatory pick about it a year later, and all they have to do is pay him for a week or two.
Huh.
Thought that was pretty funny.
That's pretty awesome.
All right. Moving on. Do you have another burning hot take for me? That's all I got.
No, that's really all. That's all I got. Slow week.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on and talk about the divisional round games. It is. We are in the postseason, and if you have not listened to us before, don't expect America's favorite game. It's not going to happen. Don't expect a lot of DFS picks. We'll talk about them, but we are now into postseason mode, which means we've got to talk about more about the games that are going on because there really isn't that much to do fantasy wise for at least a couple more months. All right, so let's talk about the games this week. Let's just go in order. 4:30 p.m. on ESPN, Texans at Chiefs. The spread right now, according to ESPN, is KC at -8.5, and the total is over under 41.5. Craig, Texans at Chiefs. Thoughts on the game? Thoughts on the lines? Go.
Wait, so what was the line again?
8.5.
8.5. And the Texans are getting 8.5. I'm assuming.
Yes.
I do like Texans 8.5 because the Chiefs' offense is not the point maker it was a few seasons ago. I don't think outside of the last week when they played Denver, no, even then they didn't win. But they didn't score. They haven't scored over 30 points this season. That was they're
the only team in the playoffs still alive that has not scored 30 points.
See, and that 2-3 seasons ago, you're like, oh yeah, the Chiefs are going to score 58 points. Yeah. So I like the spread. The Texans played surprisingly well, considering how iffy, the receivers were coming off of injury, how iffy CJ Stroud was playing. So I think this has a potential to be a good game. At home, the Chiefs are probably going to win at home. Maybe if this is on the road, it'd be a little different. But I think at least compared to the games this past weekend, which were honestly really boring, right. I think this should be a good game.
So quick stat here that is, a doom stat here, but Andy Reid in the playoffs, when he's got a week off, is 7-1. Don't forget that one loss was their Super Bowl loss in Philly. The Donovan McNabb throws up and then strolls down the field down 2 scores with 45 seconds left.
Oh, Donovan.
There's some freaking urgency. That loss. Andy Reid, when you give Andy Reid time to plan, his numbers are better. The team is better prepared. The team is better rested, et cetera, et cetera. All that being said, so that says to me, I'm obviously running with my Chiefs here.
Right.
But I don't think I think 8.5 is way too many points. I think this is a 1 possession game when it all sells down to it. Even when the Chiefs have been dominant in the playoffs the last couple of years, they win by 10. They win by 14 because what they do is they go up by 21. They're up say 27-6, and then they game manage, and they ended up winning 30-21. And they're like, oh well, that was a close game. No, it wasn't. It was never close. The Chiefs never were. They were never closer than 9 points. But the Chiefs freaking game manage if they get a lead, and that's what they like to do in the playoffs. They like to game manage. So I think 8.5 points is a lot of points. So I like the Chiefs with the money line, but I like the Texans if you're taking the points. 41.5, I would not touch that line. The Chiefs defense is either going to give up 25 or they're going to give up 2. You just never know with this freaking Chiefs defense. In the playoffs, they're historically way better. So do I think the Chiefs will win? I think the Chiefs will win. The Texans are only 5-4 on the road this season. They did look really good last week, but it's going to be bitch ass cold in Kansas City. It's going to be 24 degrees at game time. So I'll take the Chiefs, but if I'm betting the points, I'm taking the Texans.
Oh yeah. Especially if you can tease it a little and make it 10 points, then definitely take it. I would definitely take the Texans.
And sometimes you could do that. Some sites will let you parlay line against money.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
It depends on where you want to go. So, all right. The other game that night is Commanders at Lions. The spread is 9.5 with the Commanders underdogs, obviously. And the over-under is 55.5.
Wow.
This game scares the F out of me because I still have a futures bet.
Oh, that's right.
Last February. Go back, folks, and pull up the first episode we did after the Super Bowl last year. This crazy mofo put $3 on the Lions to win the NFC Championship this year. 47 weeks ago, I made this bet. I am nervous because the Commanders are playing last guy with the ball wins kind of football.
Yeah.
So if the Lions get out huge, I feel good. If the Lions don't get out huge, I'm scared to death. But at the end of the day, I think the Lions probably pull this off. But I'll also say 55.5 sounds like too many points.
That does sound like too many points. You know, the Lions defense is good, but they're very banged up. So I think that's part of it. And, you know, Daniels for Washington has been playing really well.
He has had a fantastic first year.
He has. So yeah, with those numbers, I wouldn't want to bet on this game. Like, I want the Lions to win, but you're right. Like, if several of Washington's games have been decided within the last like minute and a half, not even 2 minutes.
They were the only lower seed to advance this year.
Really?
Tampa. Yeah, Tampa sucks. Look at we have top 4 seeds in every spot except this game where we have the Commanders. The Commanders were the only wild card to advance. Wait a minute, they were at Tampa, weren't they?
Yeah, pretty sure they were.
Oh, that's right, because Philly won a division. I'm like, well, who the hell won a division? Philly did. So they were the only wild card team to advance out of the first weekend. So, oh God, I really want to cash out that bet. It pays like $9, but if it goes all the way through, it pays like $23. If the Lions beat the Commanders and they're going to the AFC Championship, the buyout on that's going to be like $12-15.
Probably.
Regardless of who they have to play, because they're going to be like, okay, this is a coin flip now. This crazy asshole who put this bet out there, it was like plus 550 too. It was crazy ass good odds, but I only had like $3 left in my DraftKings account, so that's what I did. All right, so who do you like? You like Commanders or Lions here?
If I have to pick one, I'm picking the Lions.
Yeah, I think I am too. All right, that brings us to Sunday, 3:00 on Sunday. Rams at Eagles. The Rams were surprisingly good. I was like, this is the greatest show on turf level offense that I haven't seen in like forever from these Rams. They're playing with a lot of chutzpah, and the defense was dominant. Like, Minnesota didn't know what to do. Minnesota was the Rams defense was playing like a guy who guessed the right direction in a game of Tecmo Bowl every play.
That's true.
That's what it looked like. It was like everywhere they went, the Rams already were. So, Craig, tell me what you think about this game. The spread is Philadelphia -6. The over-under is 43.5. What are your thoughts on this game?
I would take the over, but the Eagles scare me because I never know what version of the Eagles is going to show up.
Yup.
Like, what version is it going to be? The version where Jalen Hurts has 4 passing touchdowns, he rushes for 1, and then Saquon Barkley rushes for 230 yards and 3 touchdowns, and AJ Brown has over 100 yards receiving? Or is it the Eagles where, you know, Jalen Hurts has 120 yards passing and 2 yards rushing, and Barkley hurts himself, and AJ Brown has 55 yards receiving and no touchdowns? Like, I just can't. After last season, I just cannot figure out the Eagles this season. Like, they got Barkley, they got a better running game than they had last year. That's obvious. But everything else about this team, I just it's a giant question mark to me. I just don't know what to make of them. I think if the better version of the Eagles plays, I think they can beat the Rams. Yeah. I think the Eagles need to be the better versions of themselves to beat the Rams in this game, especially after last week, how the Rams are played. So
let me just remind folks that it was only a couple of weeks ago where the Eagles lost to Tampa Bay.
Yes.
And in that game, Jalen Hurts was 18 for 30. 18 for 30.
That's not good.
That's only 60%. That's 60%. 18 for 30 for 158 and a touchdown. Barkley was 10 carries for 84 yards. And their leading receiver was Dallas Goedert.
That's not good. Yeah, if that version of the Eagles shows up, then they're not winning.
I think that's exactly it. I think this is a Jekyll and Hyde situation. The Eagles didn't look great last week either. They looked okay. They were in control the whole way, but they also looked like they were playing a team that was like, do we really have to do this? I can't even remember who they beat up. The Packers.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, the Packers played so bad. The Packers were tripping over their own goddamn feet. Jordan Love was a leading passer, but he threw 3 interceptions.
Yep.
The Packers just looked lost. The Packers look like a team that were like, you know what? We're not contending. Let's just get this over with, get better in the offseason. And next year
will be good. We'll be better than the Bears.
Yeah. Next year, we're going to do this. Does somebody want to remind them that they won their freaking division? Oh, no, they didn't. They were third in their division. Oh, my God, they didn't. The Vikings and Detroit both finished ahead of them.
Yep.
They were third in the division, but they won 11 games. I mean, yeah, I think this game will be interesting. The only bet I'll place in this game is the over, because I think 43.5 is pretty low for these two teams' offenses, even though they both have really good defenses as well. So I don't know. I think both these teams are playing for the right to go to Detroit next week. Although, if the Commanders do pull off the upset, the winner of that game will host the NFC Championship as a higher seed. So, I mean, just saying. All right, so at least one game, and this, I think, is the most important game on the schedule. Ravens at Bills.
Theoretically, that should be a good game.
Theoretically. I'm going to say something bold right now.
Okay.
The winner of this game goes to the Super Bowl. Regardless of what happens in Texans-Chiefs. Whoever gets through this game plays in the Super Bowl, and I can't pick a winner. The line right now is Baltimore -1. Baltimore is a road favorite here, guys. And the over-under is 51.5.
What's the weather in Buffalo this weekend?
16 degrees and clear. But they've been getting lake effect snow for the last couple days. It's going to be cold. The ground's going to be frozen. I can't call this game, but I will tell you right now, whoever wins that game needs to face the Lions in the Super Bowl. And if you go back to the preseason, my Super Bowl pick was Chiefs-Lions in the Super Bowl, and I no longer think that's going to happen. I think the Bills and the Ravens could both beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. And we know they could beat the Texans.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on this game?
This has the potential to be the best game of the week. Which is what
we thought about Minnesota last week. But
that's true. That's true.
I thought Minnesota Rams was going to be a great game.
Yeah, and it wasn't. So, I mean, there's a chance that this game is also terrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like both teams have a lot to prove, especially both quarterbacks, the whole MVP discussion. Both of them have had, bad losses in the playoffs. So they're both trying to get rid of those, clear those ghosts out. What was the over-under on this game?
51.5.
See, that's the thing. Like, both of their defenses they're not terrible. So I don't know.
These are both really well-built teams.
They're both good. They're
both playing at a high level.
Like, the Ravens defense is a little iffy on passing, but in general, they're not, they're not terrible. Yeah, I think I like the Bills in this game just because they're at home. I'm just giving them the home advantage for this one, especially with the weather. Not that, Baltimore is warm. A lot of Baltimore's success is it's all based around Lamar. So if the Bills defense can figure him out and keep him contained and not rushing for like 15 yards at a time, I think the Bills can can throw can probably come away with the win on this, because I think, let me see. I'm trying to see who was, because Baltimore's going to be out with Zay Flowers. He's not playing. Yeah. And I think that
hurts.
That hurts. I'm trying to see who their next guy down is. I think it's Hollywood Brown is now their number one.
No, Hollywood's in Kansas City.
Oh, that's right. He's in Kansas City now. Damn, who the hell's there?
And playing this weekend. So,
really, who the hell is in Baltimore? Because
hold on, I'm pulling up. Rashad Bateman, obviously.
Oh, it's Bateman. He's the number one there.
But they run a 3 wideout offense. Their depth chart is a 3 wideout, and the third guy is Nelson Aguilar.
Oh Lord!
Listen, Lamar ain't doing it through the air, kids.
That's
not news to anybody. That shouldn't be news to anyone. What was his passing numbers last week? Hold on, I'll pull them up. Where are you? Box score. Russell Wilson was a leading passer, so Lamar 16 for 21 for 175 and 2 touchdowns. That's 8.3 yards per pass, kids.
Yeah, he's not the long ball guy. As I tried to tell Cinch before.
The leading receiver was Isaiah Likely, the tight end. Do you know who number 2 was? Mark Andrews, the other tight end. The two of them caught 5 passes. Nelson Aguilar and Rashad Bateman together combined for 3.
Really?
3 passes. 3 receptions. I should say. Okay. It's going to be this short passing game. When they look downfield and Lamar sees nothing, he scrambles. And that's okay. He had 15 carries for 81 yards in that game. So I'm just saying, guys, Bills are more of a downfield team than the Ravens are. Don't expect downfield out of the Ravens. Don't.
Yeah, don't do that.
Just don't. All right, Craig, I got one more question for you, and then we can go to final thoughts because my voice is already starting to crack, as you can hear.
Sure.
There is a game we haven't discussed.
Is there?
That is the national championship game. The number 8 Ohio State Buckeyes and the number 7 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Who you got?
I'm going with Notre Dame Fighting Irish because they just have all the momentum. That's really That's my reasoning, really, and I think it matters more for college sports than professional sports. I don't know why.
I can see that.
I think Notre Dame can just pull it off, especially after their win over Penn State. Sorry, source.
Oh, I was so unhappy
because Penn State lost.
Yeah, I was really pulling because the source is a Penn State alum.
Yep.
So Ohio State is an 8-point favorite in this game. Over-under's 45.5. I kind of want to see State win this. What I really want folks to take away from this is that this was an 8-team playoff, right? No, it was more than that. It's 12. It's 12 teams.
Mm-hmm.
12-team playoff, and the championship is between the 7 and the 8 seed.
Go figure.
So all you dumb talking motherfuckers out there, bobblehead experts who were like, we don't need more than 4 teams in the college football playoff. You're wrong. Well, I guess you give 2 of them a bye and expand to 6. You're still fucking wrong. Well, I guess we could just go to 8 teams and have an extra round altogether. Great. You could be right about that. And the bottom 2 teams are in the championships, you dumb fucks. For decades, what we heard growing up was we don't need a college football playoff because there isn't parity. There isn't enough good teams out there to fill it out. It'll be very one-sided. I'm only 4. And now here we are with the number 7 and number 8 seed in the championship game. The college football playoff should be at least 12 teams.
Yeah, I agree.
Good. And now here we have evidence. We have evidence. Penn State was the 6th seed. They should have beaten Notre Dame. They didn't. Texas was a 5. They should have beat Ohio State. They didn't. Oh, drives me nuts. And people say, well, you're a so-called expert. You come on here every week and tell me what I should do with DFS. That's a lot different for 2 guys who do this because we enjoy doing it and we enjoy talking football and sharing knowledge than it is for some scumbag asshole at ESPN who's getting a 6-figure check to sit there and tell us we're wrong when we are right.
Yes.
This is vindication for every asshole like me who has been like, we need a bigger playoff. Well, no, the bowl system did not give us a champion. Even when you somehow force-fed the college football championships into it. The end. You know what? That's my final thought.
Finn.
Every single college football person out there who thinks the playoff is too big can shut up and sit down. Do you remember the opening to the video from Van Halen for Hot for Teacher?
Yes.
Do you remember what David Lee Roth, the bus driver, says to the kid? Sit down, Waldo.
Yeah,
that is my message to every single one of you who sat there and said the college football playoffs did not need to be expanded. Sit down, Waldo. You're wrong. You're wrong. The end.
The end. Done.
That's my final thought. What's your final thought?
I don't know. I mean, yours was the good one now. Like, mine's gone.
Wow, I blanked his brain out.
You did. You really did. I really got into what you were saying.
I've been waiting for that. As these playoffs have kept going, I was like, oh, another big seed down. Oh, wait. None of the top 4 made it out of the second round? Oh, my God. Oh, wait. Oh, I've been waiting on this.
My final thought is just try. Hopefully these games won't suck like they did last week.
Last week was virtually unwatchable.
It really was. Like, I stopped like, I didn't even watch Sunday. I didn't watch Monday or like Sunday night because it was just so bad. It was bad. Just bad. I just watched highlights because, yeah. So enjoy the games. So I'll say.
And I just realized during my rant, we never got to talk anything about DFS this week, but there's only 4 games.
Yeah, it's not a lot to pick from.
Follow your gut. Follow your gut.
If
you should also follow us. Go ahead.
No, and I was just going to say, if you have to use a kicker, pick one who's playing inside, which is, I think, only the guy in Detroit. So. Or the guy in Washington.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. You got to play the Detroit or the Washington kicker.
Yeah, that was it.
You should leave us a review wherever you found us. Whatever podcast directory you found on us, probably Apple. Go there and leave us a review. It's a great way to help the podcast out. You can also reach out to us. We're still on Facebook for the time being. I don't go on Facebook anymore.
Me either.
I don't. Like, social media in general, like, particularly since, like, the election and everything here in the States, it's like every freaking social media CEO is bending over backwards to kiss the incoming president's ass. I can't. So, but you can reach out to us there. We're the Football Fignuts Podcast on Facebook. But the best way to find us is to just send us a good old-fashioned email. And you can do that by sending an email to fignutsdfs@gmail.com. Craig, we enter Divisional Round Weekend. There is only 7 games of meaningful football left in the season. 4 this week, 2 next week, and then a Super Bowl.
That's right.
We're in the home stretch. We can do this.
We're almost there.
So thank you all for joining us. Hi, Deb, as always. We will be back next week to break down the championship level games. Until we speak then, my name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
And we are the Football Fignuts Podcast. God, let my voice get better.
Welcome to the Football Fignuts Podcast. I'm Cinch.